Hi personal developers, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is not your first time here, welcome back and thank you for coming back. I really appreciate it. Listen, I am going to share with you a conversation I had with my soul sister Kate, and I am so excited because I just love talking to her and I'm glad that I can share the conversation with you. So this week the conversation is on the topic of stereotypes, and we're going to talk about stereotypes that we faced and stereotypes that we don't like at all. All types of stereotypes. I mean, I'm gonna stop talking because as always this is getting too long and it's not what I wanted. So enjoy the conversation and let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Okay, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you loved the video. Mwah. Namaste. Okay, everybody, so as you got from the intro, I am here with my Instagram friend, Kate. She is a young woman from South Africa. Hey!
Hi.
She is an accounting student, and she is also an Insta blogger. It was so funny when I saw your Instagram account. You had these videos dancing, and I thought it was so cute. So everybody, just if you want to look her up, she's gonna tell us where to go towards the end of this conversation. So with no further ado, Kate, is there something else I should tell about you that I didn't tell people, or we're done with the presentation?
Nothing. That you've said it all. You've said it all. There's nothing more.
Yeah, I just forgot to say how beautiful you are and how happy
Thank
I am
you.
to have like a chocolate panel today. I don't know, this makes me so happy.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you. Okay, so today we're going to talk about stereotypes. This is going to be like a very light conversation. We're just going to talk about stereotypes that we find in society, that we have experienced ourselves. And Kate, thank you very much for accepting
Thank you
my
for your
invitation
invite.
and for telling me
Thank
I want to
you.
talk about stereotypes. So that was great. Do you want to start by a small definition, just for people,
Oh
so
yeah.
for us to be on the same page?
So I think we all know what stereotypes are, but um, just a definition, a small definition. So stereotypes are basically assumptions. And according to a Google definition that I got, stereotypes are widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of a person or a thing. So for me, there are three main points from this definition. We have widely held, we have fixed, and we have oversimplified. So widely held, these are ideas that are widely held by the society, and they are so fixed because they are passed down from generation to generation. They are so fixed. They're hard for us to actually challenge and say, okay, this is wrong, because it is something that is believed in by the society at large, and they are also oversimplified. And I think their oversimplification comes from, like I said, from because they are passed down from generation to generation. So it's possible that some information were distorted along the way, and yeah, that's the basic definition of what stereotypes are.
Yeah.
So I think these are things that we come across day to day, and I think we also find ourselves stereotyping, and unaware,
Yes.
yeah, we
Yes.
unaware we do stereotype other people. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's so true.
yeah,
I mean, I hate stereotypes. I don't
exactly.
like that. And like I caught myself sometimes like, Erika, come on. Like you are
Yeah,
totally stereotyping. Like stop it. And I'm a person who really hates stereotypes because I suffered from so many stereotypes. Being
exactly.
a woman, like a black woman is enough, right? We're black, so that's enough. So whoa, we have so many stereotypes going on. And then being born in Africa and raised in Europe, right?
Mm.
So European person were expecting me to be more European or African or certain things, and then African people were expecting me to be other things. So I'm like, oh my
Mm.
God, where do I fit? Where do I fit? And I faced so
Yeah.
many stereotypes. And what types of stereotypes did you faced?
Um, and so what types of stereotypes I face? Firstly, there are things that people say like to say that they're positive stereotypes and they're negative stereotypes, and
Mm-hmm.
I think why we'd say that things are positive, why we'd refer to them as positive is because maybe sometimes we think that we think that they are not so bad. We actually don't think that we're stereotyping,
Yes.
and we sometimes receive them or we give out them. We think that this is actually a compliment, and because the
Mm-hmm.
person did not respond negatively, it's like, oh, okay, it's fine,
Yes.
That's why we think that. But the stereotypes that I actually came across, and at first I thought this like, what, this is like the funniest. This is like funny. This is crazy. It's like a crazy idea, But I continuously face the stereotype like, okay, what's happening now, So this is crazy idea of people wearing spectacles. I don't know if you know it, like people wearing spectacles are like the most intelligent, especially because I started wearing my spectacles when I was in high school.
Yes.
And you can really think of it when you're a cool kid and now you're wearing spectacles, like they're expecting you to be like this most intelligent person, when you
My
work in class.
God. Do people really think that?
People,
Seriously?
I don't, people do think that seriously, and this puts you like this used to put me under a lot of pressure because now I must meet this unrealistic high demands that I must meet this standards that they've set for me, and
Mm-hmm.
it has put me under a lot of pressure. But this was like the craziest, and although you just learn to like, what, I cannot be living
But
for
I
you.
think can't just can't they just figure out that you have side problems and that's it? No, you have to
Exactly.
be a
I mean, like,
smart person.
the reason why people wear spectacles because they have short sight. So how does that relate to being intelligent? Like,
Kate, you know
how did
what?
they get to that idea?
I wasn't expecting that at all. Like this stereotype because okay, it isn't. I'm just mind
Yeah,
blown right now.
yeah,
And it's crazy because, as you said, like these stereotypes they go from generation to generation. So
yeah,
I don't know what happened a long time ago when people wore glasses, but right now it's just because you have sight problems, so you cannot
exactly.
see properly. You are indeed a very smart person, Kate. Let me tell you, but
Yeah.
but your
You're
glasses they
also
don't.
stereotyping now.
I'm not
You're also
stereotyping
stereotyping.
the facts. But okay, but
Thank
your
you.
glasses they don't. It's so like seriously, this is really funny because I think this is basically what stereotypes are. If you want to know what
Yeah,
stereotypes are, just look at this example and look how ridiculous it is. We're just talking about freaking glasses, spectacles, and
like you just
like
sit and wonder, like, how did you get to this idea? I mean, like the
yeah.
reason people wear spectacles is because they're short-sighted.
But the thing about stereotypes is that I think that you are not thinking straight. You are not like, oh, there's Kate. Oh, she's wearing glasses. Oh, she must. You're not thinking. It's something that's
Yeah,
very unconscious, and you're like, bing, that's it. And oversimplified. When you were telling us about the
exactly.
definition,
Mm.
I that word was like ding 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 in my head because we
Yeah,
oversimplify things. Like you don't
yeah,
have the enough information to tell if she's smart or not. And and it's crazy because you were telling us about the positive and the negative stereotypes, and
yes,
it's crazy that, and I love how you connected talking about it's not a stereotype. We don't see it as a stereotype until
yeah,
we actually see the repetition and you're like, oh, wait a minute. It's not
yeah,
about me and how well this person knows me. It's just because they
yes,
assumed something without
yes,
even knowing me.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
And
crazy.
I was actually reading an article online about by Stem Killerman, and he was basically giving reasons why positive stereotypes aren't so positive. And I think, well, it depends on a person. It depends on how a person would receive it. Someone will receive it as, oh, okay, well, it's funny, cool, sweep it under the carpet, but somebody
Right.
will take offense at it. And the three reasons that he gave is like, the first one is they set the bar unrealistically high.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they can inhibit an individual's ability to perform, and they can also be alienating and depressing to the individual who are supposed to possess them, but they don't.
Mm. Let me tell you a story about stereotypes and about inhibiting an individual.
Yeah.
So, since I was born in Africa, in Angola, and
Okay.
then moved to Portugal and lived in Portugal for the majority of my life, I moved to Portugal when I
Hmm.
was very little. Somehow, since I am an African, I have to be like this spectacular dancer. So
Okay.
everyone was like, you can dance kizomba? Like it was, outrageous. Like you are
Mm.
not an African. I mean, imagine, okay? Like,
Yeah,
so
and
that
and some-
I
and
couldn't
you'd get
even
questions like,
dance. I couldn't even if I would, if even if I had it in my blood, I couldn't
yeah.
perform because I knew that they were expecting me to give a show,
Mm.
and it's like I'm black, so I am a professional dancer. I mean, does
Mm.
so this it's one example of like a positive stereotype. It's positive, right? So black people can dance. Oh, that's great. That's very positive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you are
That
black, so
doesn't go out
you
for every black person.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
positive. Probably if it fits you and you're like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
black, I can dance, and
I
I
can
actually
dance.
can dance. All right, but I can move my
Let's just
body.
get that.
But that's just get it straight, okay, haters?
Yeah.
No,
And let's
I'm
just set
joking.
the record
I'm
straight.
joking. But you know what? I can dance hip hop, I can dance whatever. But then when it comes to kizomba, I'm ashamed.
And
It
that's totally
inhibits
fine.
me, and that's also
That's
fine.
totally fine.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Kay.
That's totally.
You're making me feel good.
And you get questions from rude people, be like, what kind of an African are you who can't do this or that?
Uh, the
That reminds
kind,
me.
uh, the kind
Yeah.
that has their own personality and world.
Yeah.
But thank you. Oh my God. Um,
Okay.
yeah. You said okay.
Yes.
You look like you were ready to say something.
No,
No.
not at all.
Don't worry. I'm ready to say something. I have a question for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we made it very clear that we don't like stereotypes. It's something that's it's a little bit, I don't know. It gets on our nerves. So what stereotypes get on your nerves the most?
What's the I think gender stereotypes.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I feel like, this really gets on my nerves.
Uh-huh.
Because, and I think this comes from um our religions, our cultures as well.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I'll later explain that, but the so-called gender roles. Yeah, gender roles. I said that right. So, when you're a woman, you are expected to be some sort of a domestic worker within a home, and then when you're a male person, you are supposed to be a provider, and you're not supposed to be so vulnerable.
Yeah.
Honestly, me as a woman, as a black woman, as an African woman, I
Mhm.
hate domestic work. I absolutely hate domestic work, and I know that I'm not the only one. And my mom would say things like, who's gonna marry you? Where are you gonna get married? Because your mother-in-law is not gonna like this. Your mother-in-law is not gonna like this. How are you going to survive? And like, you know what? Um, I live in my own world, okay? And if ever I'm gonna get into a marriage, it's supposed to be a partnership.
Yeah.
And in that partnership, we are supposed to set our own roles within the partnership. Our roles within the partnership should not be set by the society or our cultures or whatever.
Mhm.
And there are also racial stereotypes, um, where we speak of black people are, I don't know, black people love chicken. Black people
Oh,
love chicken.
yeah.
There's also one that I read online, like Asians are good at maths or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and this thing is, imagine if you're an Asian person and then now you're being expected to be good at maths,
Yeah.
people coming up to you without even asking you, without even knowing you that well, because you are Asian person. Now a person comes up to you and be like, can you help me with this maths problem, can you help me with this, simply because you are an Asian and you are perceived to be so perfect and so intelligent with maths. So
Mm-hmm.
those are like my top um stereotypes that really annoy me. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, like I said at the beginning, we'll always stereotype, but we need to get into the process of learning, unlearning, and relearning, so that we
Yeah.
can be able to treat each other better. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it's also a question of like, let's know the person first. Let's make an
exactly.
exercise and like don't assume things just straight away.
Exactly.
Just this person, like this person looks a certain way, so there is no reason why this person has to have a certain way. And this person does not have to match your criteria. This
Exactly.
person has to match himself or herself, and that's it. So I do suffer a lot from stereotyping. I have to admit that I think I am better at it. I don't make so many assumptions right now, and I've become very strict with the stereotypes. I really I absolutely hate stereotypes.
Mm.
And I am trying to speak up more about it. Before, I would, shut up
Yes.
and say nothing. And right now,
Mm.
I'm like, yo, that's not cool. That
And I
wasn't
think that's
cool.
that's that's a way of people to actually learn that what they're doing is wrong. We must speak up. We must,
Yeah,
tell them that this is not right. What you just did right now is not right. And
yeah,
I think what people also need to do, they must get over the mentality that this is what I've been taught. This is what, I don't know, my parents taught me. This is, what our family does. People
mm-hmm.
need to understand that we are from different backgrounds, and therefore we cannot conform to all this ways of life, I guess.
Yes,
So yeah, people must get in the process of learning. Like I said, learn, you unlearn, you relearn. So that's how
exactly.
I think we can
Don't make
fight this.
assumptions and learn. And
Yeah,
like, and sometimes I'm so shocked when I see young people because, the oldest people, sometimes I'm like, okay, I get why they might think like that, but we don't have an excuse. We don't have an excuse. We have
yeah,
internet. We know how to use internet. So all those
exactly.
stereotypes, I mean, no one is perfect. Come on, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one is perfect, but we
Yeah,
can correct ourselves, like and start. For example, I didn't used to think about fat phobia a lot. I'm quite skinny. I never had problems with my weight, but I don't like the stereotypes people make about fat people. you know
yeah,
and it's like, you're fat, you're unhealthy, you're fat, you don't know how to dress, you are fat, you are funny. I mean, why do we have all those stereotypes based on how much this person weighs? Like, what's the
yeah,
purpose of that? And this is one thing that it was out of my range because I didn't experience it. But just because I didn't experience, it doesn't mean that I get to go along with these stereotypes and
yeah,
admit
exactly.
people stereotyping and saying mean things in regards to that. And really, this is one thing that right now is close to my heart. And I really don't like those types of stereotypes. I agree with all stereotypes you said. Uh, I don't like gender role stereotypes. In my relationship, we do whatever we do best and we do whatever
Mm-hmm.
we like.
Mm,
I like
yeah,
cooking. I don't like cleaning the kitchen. Okay, so who cleans the kitchen? My boyfriend. There you go. Simple as that. To answer your
Yeah,
question, who's gonna marry you? Someone who actually likes to clean the dishes
yeah,
or
yeah.
doesn't mind
Someone,
cleaning the dishes.
exactly.
That's simple as that, you know? Because if you
Somebody will be
settle,
able to relate to, you know?
yeah, exactly. Someone who is like, okay, I'm not going to this with this gender role thing. It doesn't make any sense. Like, let's stop
Yeah,
it. Our society advanced already. We live in a different society.
yeah,
So,
we live in it.
and Kate, don't you feel like sometimes I have this conversation with my boyfriend? I feel that our head doesn't go along with our evolution. You know what I mean? It's like we're in
Yeah,
the 21st century. We have
yeah. But
all of this information, but we're still discussing racism, feminism, fat phobia. Like, what the hell is
exactly,
going on?
exactly. I think maybe, as long as we can keep on, having this conversation somehow, I guess,
Yeah,
keep on having this conversation, I guess that will lead us to a process of, like I said, I think I'm like saying this for the third time, um, having to relearn something,
say you are
um,
right. It's a question of relearning things. Like, for example, the example I just gave you about the fat phobia, that was a subject that was totally out of my range. I didn't see it. I knew something about it. But now I know more about it. And now I learn. It's not like I'm dumb or something. No one is dumb here. But sometimes we just don't want to learn. We don't care. We are not in
yeah,
contact with the situation. But let's just be a little bit sensitive and yeah, be willing to learn more about things. Just don't assume things. Try to learn. I think this is like the summary of this whole conversation. Just to deal with stereotypes, we should
mm,
not assume things and learn and see people like for what they really are. Just be patient and get to know people and don't assume that they're going to be something because they don't have to match your expectation,
mm.
right?
Yeah, and I think we also need to normalize calling out, to some things. When you see a person, an ex person, stereotyping another person, you must normalize, okay, call them to a side, and explain to them, okay, this is not a right thing,
Mm.
in a more calmer way, and I think one thing that us as human beings we should remember as a society actually, and we should remember that before we are categorized into, you're female, you're male, you're an African person, you're an Asian person. I think we should remember that before we are all categorized into those um stuff, we are human, we are of human nature, and
Mhm.
we have this, we have this human trait in us. So we cannot always be expected to meet the standards that society sets for us. We cannot always be expected to meet those standards. We must just always remember that at the end of the day we are human. And yeah.
And that's it. And
Yeah,
that's it. And that's a wrap. And that's how we're going to finish. We're all human. Just F
yeah,
the stereotypes. We have to stop stereotyping people. Let's make
exactly.
a commitment today to get better at it.
Let's
Yeah?
all make a commitment to
Let's
get
all
better at
make a
it, to
commitment
learn, relearn, and learn.
and learn and don't judge
Yeah,
and don't make assumptions. Okay? Let's
don't make
not be
assumptions.
saints, but let's give it a try.
Exactly. When we
Kate,
are wrong, admit that we are wrong. And
yes,
yes,
when someone is stereotyping, we call them out.
exactly.
Kate, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for accepting
thank you
to
so
do
much
this
for
with me.
inviting me.
I can't wait for us to have other conversations. It
Definitely.
was just beautiful. And that's it for you, the listener. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hi personal developer, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe to my channel and share it with someone you love. And also, don't forget to activate the notifications so you don't miss a thing. There's a new video coming every Wednesday and Friday. There's another thing I don't want you to forget. You can be the boss of your brain. Yes, you can. See you next time.